Alien Earth injects some new ideas to a beloved franchise, most important of which is that the movie Ice Age is now canon. Try telling that to Ridley Scott in the year 1979. Welcome back to Movies Good, Internet Bad. I'm Corey, that's Shane, and we are talking about the first two episodes of FX's Alien Earth. Shane, I've been really excited about this show for a very long time, and I know that you're not much of a horror person to
But
a
I
degree,
love Alien.
but you
I
love Alien.
love I love this franchise, and I think part of it is just because it's space. Like that just interests me in general, even though it is kind of horror focused.
Good
But
thing
yeah,
this
I'm a
one's
big
called
fan.
Alien Earth,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. They're not in space
not
anymore,
in
but
space anymore.
whatever. I love sci-fi. I love all of the sci-fi elements here. I think what I loved about this show specifically is that it's like, wait, so people like Ridley Scott's Aliens or Alien, sorry, I don't want to mix that up, and Ridley Scott's Blade Runner. So
Yes.
they just made Blalian. They basically just mashed them together, and it is this is Blalian Earth. I feel like
New what do they call it? New Siam? Is that the city?
something like that.
Yeah, where
There's a little bit of Halo in here too. I'm curious to see if there's some influence there because like New Mombasa is like the city in Halo
oh, is
on
that
Earth.
right? Okay.
Yeah, and the whole concept of like children turning into super soldiers with the
Mhm.
synthetics thing. That's
Yeah.
like basically the Halo plot. They like kidnap all these children and then like say that they're sick and dying and then turn them into super soldiers, and that's like the Master Chief in
Huh.
Halo.
Very
Yeah,
interesting.
so
I
pretty
did not
interesting.
know
Yeah,
that. That's from the games or from the show?
yeah. I mean both,
Okay.
but yeah, that's the game plot line too.
Do you act as if the show existed, or is it like a
It's
expand on it?
memeable.
Okay.
Master Cheeks got
Fair
naked
enough.
Master Chief
Yeah.
parading
Well,
around.
so to kick things off here, there will be spoilers, obviously, as we talk through this. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Smash that like button, all the good YouTube stuff. Uh, this show is a really intriguing one for me because I'm a big fan of the showrunner.
Yeah,
I watched all 5 seasons of Fargo that he created. I was a big fan of Legion, which was technically a Marvel show, but it was so completely out there that it almost didn't even register as one. And when I found out that he was taking on Alien, I was like, oof, man, that's a tall order. But he is very good at taking a concept that already exists,
yeah,
like Fargo, right? And creating something brand new out of it.
yeah,
And I think this show is it's 2 years before the events of the original Alien film, so it's sort of a prequel ish. So it kind of slots between Alien Covenant and the original Alien, and then all the other stuff takes place afterwards. So Bevo agrees. That is we're doing it live.
he's giving him. Yeah, he's giving us the wolf of approval for the show.
Yeah.
I think.
So my first question here, aside from did you like this, is how did you feel about the style and the tone and how they kind of weaved it into the alien world that we already know?
I'm mixed on it actually.
Really? Okay.
I felt like the visuals nailed it. Like all of that totally worked for me. The
Okay.
atmosphere, the vibe. Where it lost me a little bit was needle drops. I felt like the needle drops did not work for me.
Okay.
Like putting, I think Tool is one of the needle drops they did in the show. That didn't really work for me that well. And then there's something a little bit strange about the tone where you've got this like childlike wonder energy mixed with all of the horror
Mhm.
atmospheric stuff of Alien. And I think I'll grow to appreciate it a little bit more as the show goes on, but it is jarring because we haven't seen this type of
Yeah.
like vibe in the franchise before. So I know a lot of people have been complaining about that online. I did think it was funny that you called out the Ice Age thing
Dude, it's
because
hilarious.
it's being memed all over the internet.
I loved it. I
Yeah,
cannot tell you. I don't even give a shit about the movie Ice Age, but the fact that they managed to do that.
yeah. Why not?
It's,
Right?
it's a 50-year-old franchise, and now Ice Age is officially canon.
Right. But
That's
it
too
kind of
funny.
feels like a mashup between, like I said, Blade Runner, Alien, Halo, maybe a little bit of Stranger Things in there. But they avoided the problem that Stranger Things has, where they actually casted children and then they
Right.
have to be like super old later. Now it's like, wait, what if the kids are just adults? It's
Yeah,
like
and that's
perfect,
one thing
good
that you've talked
loophole.
about on this channel before is that it's really hard to get talented child actors.
Yeah. And especially in the production pipeline of TV now, it's like 3 years between seasons, and the kids are so much older.
Dude, it's crazy, man. But you look at the Stranger Things kids, and
And
they're
they're
just
all like 30.
full thick mustaches and crazy stuff. But so these first two episodes do a little bit of world building and
Yep.
establishing where we fall in the show. There's really two storylines that the first episode is kind of cross cut between the two of them. So you've got everybody on the ship, which is owned by Wayland Yutani, which is the corporation that we know from the Alien franchise, and then there's the hybrid creation of these sort of human, not really things that are run by the Prodigy Corp with the boy genius, and then those two converge as the ship crashes into one of their buildings on Earth, and all hell breaks loose. Um, which one of these stories was more interesting to you from the jump?
To me, the synthetic thing for sure,
Okay.
because the ship thing we've seen a million times in
Mhm.
Alien before. It just felt kind of like we're just doing this again, like the same horror tropes. We got a crazy cat eye thing, which is that was nuts. You're a cat guy. Like, did that freak you out?
I mean, there's not a lot that freaks me out at this point when it comes to horror stuff, but I loved all the new creepy crawlies. You know,
Yes, I would
the,
I would agree that that was a positive thing, because the franchise has gotten a little bit stale, because it's like it's just a xenomorph again.
mhm,
So now there's like new stuff that they
yeah,
keep like it's an evolution, and they keep iterating on the same idea.
yeah, and seeing a xenomorph on Earth just terrorizing a building full of people is great,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, that can be a little bit one trick pony ish. So to
Yes.
see all these new things that they've introduced, there was the little leech that sucked all the
Yep.
blood out of the two guys and turned into this
Yep.
big blood bag, and the eyeball that popped out of the cat and everything. I thought that was all great,
Yeah.
and I actually I felt like these first two episodes were a little bit scarier than Alien Romulus was.
Okay. That's
Um,
fair.
I could be just my opinion on it, but
Yeah.
just the way it was all cut, the way the jump scares worked and everything, I think actually worked a little bit better than that film. So,
Yeah, I will say you can totally feel the TV budget here, though, like
oh yeah,
compared to Alien Romulus, where it's like it's a little bit hokier. But I think
sure,
that's fine too, because like the original Alien is also kind of hokey at times. Like, it's so well shot, but like the budget on that wasn't extraordinary or anything like that.
oh
So,
yeah,
you know, it's
and
like
it's
you watch
set in
any
the
old monster
'70s.
movies. Yeah, exactly,
It's like
exactly.
if you watch A New Hope compared to
Yeah,
one of the new Star Wars movies,
100%.
the sets don't look the same, right?
Right. Yeah.
Different times. So
Absolutely. But I really thought the synthetics thing was interesting to me, just that concept,
yeah,
because that's a real like sci-fi concept that they're exploring,
mhm,
is putting your brain in a robot,
yeah,
basically, so that you can live forever or do whatever you want. And a lot of people think that's basically like the future of the species,
right,
is if we wanted space travel, our bodies can't do that. So we got to figure out a way to do that.
yeah,
So all of that is super interesting to me. Again, it kind of reminds me of Halo, but a little bit different. I loved all the homages to like Peter Pan, of course. Like, we're both Disney people, so that
mhm,
was great.
yeah,
But yeah, I think it's good. It's building a bunch of lore for the later half of the
mhm.
season. Like, all that world building is great, and that's going to pay dividends, I think.
Yeah, and the Peter Pan stuff, they're owned by Disney now, so they don't even have to
They can
pay
do whatever they want.
royalties to do that, which is fantastic. I think all this hybrid synthetic stuff is going to be where a lot of the social commentary and
Yeah.
kind of reflection on our current world falls. It looks like there's a handful of companies that are in a technology race to unlock the key to immortality,
I
and
wonder what the commentary is on. I have no
yeah,
idea.
couldn't be OpenAI and Google and Meta and
No,
Grok and all
no,
these fucking
none
AI
of that.
they're scary stuff. But
Yeah, it
but
is, man.
because the boy genius at one point he's like, yeah, the theory. We're gonna build a machine that's smarter than us, and then that machine's gonna build a smarter machine, and then so on and so forth until we're just gone. I just want to have an interesting conversation with somebody. Like I thought all that stuff
Yeah.
was really interesting, really well written too. and seeing his motivations. He even says at one point, it's not about the money, which I think is great to have somebody who's a big rich CEO of a company
Yeah.
who their main motivator isn't financial.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and
pretty
like
cool
all
stuff.
the commentary on just like wealth in general in this show, of course, like corporations rule the world kind of thing. Like it's the extreme end of capitalism. Like all of that stuff is why you watch science fiction in
Yeah.
general,
Yep.
because it's all of these alien concepts, but they're telling a story about today. And
Yep.
that's always been the case in good sci-fi.
Yep. For sure. How did you feel? I know you kind of talked about it a little bit, but production wise, because it is TV, it's not a movie.
Yeah.
What were your
But
thoughts
I think they did a good enough job though of masking their budget. So like you can't have the same level of CG xenomorph type of stuff that you could on a big movie set.
there?
So they do the Jaws approach where they don't show it
Hmm.
that much. It's little flashes and stuff like that. So all of that works for me. It's part of why like when you watch Jurassic Park today and it still holds up, it's because they knew what their limits were. They
Yep.
knew where the CG was not going to work. They knew what they couldn't show. And sometimes that's scarier and more effective.
Hmm.
You look at the most recent Jurassic World movies and it's just CG dinosaurs all over the place because they can do whatever they want now.
Yep.
But that kind of takes the effect away from it. So I liked kind of going back to the roots, and there's a little bit of creativity through restraint, right? Like
Hmm.
if you restrict the budget, sometimes people get more creative because they have to work around that. Whereas if you just throw hundreds of millions of dollars at the screen, it just looks terrible and wasteful.
Yeah. There's a shot in the second episode. Um, the the cyborg that was on the Weyland Yutani ship is trying to get in the elevator with the xenomorph, and the xenomorph breaks out of the little body bag that he
Yeah,
sprayed on it. And the shot is the back of that guy's head, and you can hear all the violence happening.
right.
Like it even moves around. Like if you have multiple speakers in your setup, you can hear the violence moving around, but you can't see any of it because it's all just the back of this guy's head or the front of his head or whatever it is. And then the camera pans out and there's just blood everywhere and guts
Yeah,
and gore and all that. That's a really clever way, like you said, to
right.
pass the
But
budget.
that's much more effective. You remember it more than if you were to watch the whole
Oh
thing,
yeah,
right? Like
absolutely.
that is creative, and like I said,
Yeah.
creativity through restraint.
How did you feel about acting performances?
Performances are a little uneven at times. So we talked about this pre recording, but Alex Lothar, who plays Hermit, he's from Andor.
Yep.
Um, he's acting very wooden. It might be very intentional. One of our other friends theorized that he might be a full robot, anyways. So he's kind of like the David of of this story, kind of thing.
Could be. Yep.
Um, so maybe that's where that performance is going. I think the lead, Sydney Chandler, is great.
Yes.
Like she's very, very charismatic.
Yep.
And like there is something to be said about these adult actors having to act like kids. Like
Hmm.
that's a really cool concept and
Yeah.
something you don't see very often.
Yeah, I agree. And love Timothy Oliphant too. Seeing him show
Yeah.
up.
He was actually a little uneven for me. Like he's usually
Well,
pretty good, but he was a little, I don't know.
so he's a
Continue. Yeah.
synthetic though, right?
Well, right,
So
right. So this is where it's kind of hard to judge, like they're acting a little bit robotic but they're supposed to be. But I don't know, it's something was slightly off with his performance for me. But again, with any new TV show, you're just so much is thrown at you at once that like you're just trying to process everything so quickly, and then you kind of get into the groove of what the show is doing, who the characters are, and everything starts to make more sense going along. So
yeah,
I don't want to make any grand sweeping generalizations about anything this early.
sure. And I honestly, they released 2 episodes last night to premiere it.
Yeah,
I kind of wish they didn't because
just the one.
it's only 8 episodes
Hmm.
to start, right? And all the episodes so far, the first two that have aired and the next two that are listed on Hulu, they're all 55 minutes or longer.
Yeah,
They're thick, dense episodes, and there's a lot to digest in them. So
it
I don't
felt
like
like
binging. I'm anti binging at this
I
point.
am too.
So
Yeah.
that's just kind of where I
To
fall.
me, it felt like the second one, since it had more of the monsters and the gore, they were like, we have to make sure that that one is
Right.
in, like, you have to have the alien stuff and not all the setup stuff.
Yeah.
It's like when Firefly premiered, they actually aired the second episode as the first episode
Oh,
because
really?
the second episode is like a train heist.
Oh, okay.
Um, At least I think it's the second episode, but they aired another one as the premiere. But
Interesting.
it's like a train heist, and they're like, "Yeah, people love train heists." But the first episode is all of the setup to all of those characters, and it never aired with the show. And
Wow.
so people are
Okay.
like, "What is going on? Who are these people?" But the first episode, I think, is great. I think it like really introduces everything well, but it wasn't action packed enough. That's what this feels like.
That's the world we live in, my friend.
Yeah, man.
It's got to be all action all the time, or
TikTok
else
brain.
people tune out because everybody's got popcorn brain.
Yep.
That's a real thing. So, to close things out, excited for this show. Curious to
Yeah,
see where it
I'll
goes.
definitely keep watching. Like, I'm such a big fan of the franchise in general that I'll watch anything that you slap the Alien name on,
Okay.
which has been pretty uneven since the first 2, to be quite honest. But, at the very least, you're watching, like, something pretty
Yeah.
95% of the time, even if it's not that good. So, whatever.
Yeah. I was fully invested by the time the
Yeah,
second episode was
yeah,
over. I was like, I can't believe we get an 8 hour alien story. Like,
yeah,
I have always felt like this franchise, because movies are driven by plot, TV is driven by character, right?
yeah,
And that's something that I always would love to see in a franchise like Alien, is the chance to live in that world a little longer instead of just
mhm,
having to rush to the next plot point.
yeah,
Which even the best Alien movies, that's how they are, because you only have 2 hours to tell your story. So
yeah,
I'm really excited to see where it goes. I think Noah Hawley is a great storyteller. His seasons of Fargo have proven that. So we're going to cover this every week. We finally have something to get us back on a regular cadence,
been
which
a
is
long
great.
time.
We only took like a month off. That's fine. So, but we'd love to hear from you guys. Drop us a comment below. Let us know what you thought about these first 2 episodes. Are you an Alien fan? Are you excited? Is Ice Age being canon a deal breaker for you, or is it the greatest thing you've ever seen in your life? Drop those comments below and let us know. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure to stay tuned next week. We'll be talking about episode 3. So until next time, we'll see you guys in the next video.